All right, what is going on today, guys? I promised that I would do this after I did the best budget beast hitters. We're doing the best budget beast pitchers. All right, so what this is going to consist of is starting pitching. I'm not going to do bullpen because I can sum that up for you in 30 seconds. Patrick Corbin, 94 overall. Lou Trevino, 94 overall. 95 overall, John Schreiber. 97 overall, Aaron Loop. 99 overall, Mariano Rivera. 99 overall, Kenley Jansen. There you go. You got an incredible bullpen. It was that fast and it was that easy. That doesn't need to be, you know, a 8-minute long video, but starting pitching, I think, deserves a video like that. Bullpen guys, it's really just pitch mix, finding guys with sinker, cutter, slurve, slider, that kind of a pitch mix, good velo, good break. That's all you're looking for with a bullpen guy. I think it's a little bit more in depth when you're talking about a starter that you want to go for 9 innings in a game. So I have compiled what I feel like are the best budget beast starting pitchers in Diamond Dynasty for set 3. There will be a few set 2 guys that I mention on this, but I'm going to try and keep it as majority set 3 as we can. I will update this video or do just individual debuts when we get better set 3 budget beast pitchers. Because we've got like 40 something days left in the set. We got plenty of time to get some upgrades in the starting pitching and bullpen as well. But let's go ahead and hop right into it. All right, starting at the back end of this thing, I've got Noah Syndergaard. So he's got great hits per 9, great Ks per 9. His walks per 9 could be better, and his pitching clutch is pretty solid. He is totally free. You get him out of the NL East Season 3 Team Affinity. Super easy to grind that out. This is Nolan Ryan with side-to-side movement and less on the per 9s. That's the best way I can, you know, sum that up for you. 99 break on his sinker. And if you've been playing MLB for a while, you know the sinker is the meta. It comes in at 100 miles an hour as he does have outlier. So Noah Syndergaard, incredibly solid budget pitching option because the best price tag is free. All right, next up on the list, we've got another NL East Season 3 Team Affinity guy for the Atlanta Braves. We got Mike Soroka. So what is valuable about Mike Soroka? He can dot. That's what you need. Sinker, cutter, slider, fastball, circle change mix. Overall, really solid control and really solid pitch break. Other than his fastball, you want to avoid throwing the fastball when you're using a guy like Soroka because he's in the Greg Maddux class of not throwing super hard. So you want to come with the stuff that's got the movement, the sinker, and the cutter, and the slider. Those are going to be his dominant pitches. That's where you're going to make your money with Mike Soroka. He's got good hits per 9, good walks per 9. His K per 9 could be a little bit better, but it's not terrible. You can use this card effectively, especially on the Hall of Fame and Legend levels. There's a lot of people that use him on the Legend level specifically because there's going to be a lot of swing and miss action on those levels. So having a pitch mix like this with good enough per 9s, good enough pitching clutch does really help. And being able to put the ball where you want it also really helps. Mike Soroka, really solid, especially for the price tag of free. All right, and like I said at the start of this video, there is going to be set 2 guys on here. I'm trying to limit it, but these 2 guys are too dominant in set 2 to not leave out, especially for their price tag. This is a card you can get for 12,000 stubs. It is 99 overall Mize. He has a fastball, slider, sinker, splitter, and curveball mix. You don't really want to throw that curveball, but great control. And 99 break on his splitter with good enough break on his sinker. Really dominant pitch mix. You'd like to see a cutter in there, but overall it's not too bad. Maybe a change up or something along those lines, but the splitter kind of gets you covered on that. Good enough speed differentials. You'd like to see a little bit more of a gap, but it's overall not bad. He's got pretty good pitching clutch, great walks per 9, good K per 9, and good hit per 9. Very solid card here for Mize. You're gonna be able to dot a little bit with him. Better on the Hall of Fame and Legend levels. And then we've got his partner in crime, Tariq Skubal. Kind of the same card in a lot of ways, but instead of an unusable regular curveball, he's got a 12-6 that comes in super slow. He's got a circle change. He's got the same sinker, fastball, slider with a primary slider, which is really nice because he's going to have that extra control on his slider. When it comes in at 99 control, he's got 96 break on his circle change. He's got good enough break on his fastball to where you can throw it a little bit more. And then he's got good enough break on his sinker The 12-6 doesn't have the most break in the world, nor does the slider, but overall not the worst. Hits per 9, walks per 9, all really solid. The issue with this card and why I think Casey Mize is better is pitching clutch, but also at the same time, Tariq Skubal could be better depending on whose hands he's in. He's a lefty, so he can really mess up a lot of people's day in their lineup because they don't prepare for lefties a lot of the time. We were in a heavy righty meta. Now we've kind of moved to a lefty meta when it comes to hitters. Pitchers, because we've got Donaldson and then we've got Randy Johnson. Those are the two most dominant pitchers in the game. And they're both lefties. So it depends on how they have their lineup set up on how dominant Skubal will be compared to Casey Mize. But overall, both of them are really, really good. And they're very cheap. 14,000 stubs, 12,000 stubs. What is that? 36,000. Wait. 26,000 stubs? Yeah, whatever. I'm not good at math. All right. I don't get paid for that. Next up, we've got Player of the Month, Shohei Otani. His lightning card, he's got 114 hits per 9, 102 K per 9, low walks per 9, and that's the issue with this card because his clutch is good. Everything's good about him. He can hit. He's very fast, great defensive pitcher, so there's going to be a hell of a pitcher's wall out there when you're using Shohei Otani. Got incredible pitch break as well. What is the issue with him? Control. It's hard to place the ball with Shohei Otani. He's got good break. He's got good everything, but his control is really bad. That 74 walks per 9, because there's a misconception that the control stat is the only stat that matters when it comes to control. The walks per 9 is what helps make the par size bigger or smaller. So the higher BB per 9 or walks per 9, I'm just, saying that just in case you didn't know, it affects that par region. So if the par region's this big, it can go anywhere in that par region, which is what his sinker looks like a lot of the time. It's what his splitter looks like a lot of the time, and sometimes his slurve. You want the par region to be a little bit more towards the size of the ball. Shohei doesn't have that, and that's why I don't have him as the best, because his pitch mix is the best. It's just that specific issue really hurts Shohei. He's got good speed differentials. Everything about this card could have been really good, but they just destroyed his walks per 9 and his vision. So you hate to see it, but Shohei, he's still usable. If you can have success with him, have success with him. Use the card. He's totally free. Doesn't take super long to get. And he's got outlier on his fastball. Like, in theory, he's a monster. But actually out there on the field, he kind of gets lit up sometimes, depending on who you're playing. And your grace of luck when it comes to the par region. All right, like I said, I was going to limit the set 2 guys that were going to be on this list. And this is the final set 2 guy that I'm going to have on the budget pitching list. The reason I have set 2 guys on here is because we just have less pitchers than we do hitters for the set that are usable. So going over this real quick, we got Lance McCullers, incredible velo, good control, great break. He's got a sinker, slider, cutter, curve, circle change mix with great hits per 9, max pitching clutch. I do have mine super fractured or parallel 5, whatever you want to call it. And you see his 79 walks per 9. I don't know what it is. Going into like the individual pitching stats, maybe that's kind of what it is. Because I work with the sinker slider a lot, throwing the cutter away and sometimes trying to dot it in on the back side of the plate. This card, I don't have any issues with like I do Otani. His par regions are not the smallest in the world, but Lance McCullers is my most successful pitcher so far this year. Although I didn't play a lot online with set 1 because I was just getting back into the game. I didn't have a console for the first couple of weeks of the game because I traded my last console for a PC. Side story, you don't give a shit. But got into the game a little bit late. This is my most successful pitcher. That's obviously why he's super fractured. Lance McCullers Jr., incredible pitcher, totally free out of Team Affinity AOS Season 2. Try out McCullers if you haven't. Take advantage of being able to use them for the last 40 days that you get to. Really, really love this Lance McCullers card. All right, next up on the list, we've got another entirely free card that you get out of the All-Star Week program. So when you're grinding for that new 99 Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, Vlad Guerrero Jr., I mean, if you want to take Elias Diaz or, whatever, one of those 99s that you're going to get totally free out of that choice pack, you're going to get Corbin Burns along the way. And I highly recommend that you start using him because Corbin Burns has one of the best pitch mixes in the entire game. He's got great hits per nine, good enough pitching clutch, and individual pitch control, all pretty solid with pretty solid break. His best break is going to be on his curveball and his slider. So he does actually have a usable curveball, which, you know, comes in handy sometimes. And he's got great speed differentials. The only thing that could make this Corbin Burns at the top of the list, you know, 1A, 1B, or in the 2 spot, is if he had outlier. Typically Corbin Burns does get outlier on either his cutter or his sinker. I can't remember which one it is. But this time they didn't give him that, which I understand, considering the year that he's having in real life compared to like last year. But Corbin Burns overall really, really solid. Can't recommend the card enough. He's done very well with me, or well for me so far when I have been using him. Really like this Corbin Burns. All right, coming in at the 3 spot in today's video is going to be Kodai Senga. Same deal with Corbin Burns. You get him entirely for free when you're grinding for that 99 that you're going to choose, who I highly recommend you take Max Clark or Vlad Guerrero Jr. Just saying, but we'll worry about that on a different day. He's got a cutter, a forkball, a slurve, a 12-6, and a really hard fastball that sometimes comes in at 100 miles an hour with 112 hits per 9, 107 Ks per 9, 118 pitching clutch. What is the issue with this card that keeps him out of the top spot? Because I think he's one of the best. It's that 73 walks per 9. You're going to walk some guys with him. You're going to miss some spots with Kodai Senga. Again, it's a lot of give or take because these are budget guys, but Kodai Senga overall is really, really solid. Highly recommend you give him a shot. I don't know who's better, him or Corbin Burns. Is kind of like a 3A, 3B kind of thing. It just depends on which pitch mix you're more comfortable with. I have so far had more success with Senga because of his wild speed differentials. And he's got a little bit of a weird delivery. Not the weirdest, but it's just kind of hard to read. Really, really like this Kodai Senga. Can't recommend him enough, especially for the low price of free. All right, and at number 2 on the list, we've got Brayan Bello. So this is a card you get on the way to Otani, who I think is actually better than Otani. So going over his pitch mix: sinker, circle change, slider, fastballs, cutter. Individual pitch control, all really solid. Individual pitch break, ridiculous. 99 break on your sinker, 96 on the circle change, and 95 on the slider. All really, really good. Hits per 9, 110. Pitching clutch, 118. Very good. Walks per 9, and his K per 9 is workable. Brayan Bello is a really good card. If you haven't used him yet, I highly recommend it. He kind of looks a little odd on the mound. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but he's just kind of hard to read. Stance, delivery, windup, everything's just not the easiest to read. Brayan Bello is very, very good. He's in my S tier on my ultimate pitching or starting pitcher tier list that I had a couple days ago, like 2 or 3 days ago now. And I think deservingly so. This card's going to be really, really good. I'm going to be using him in the God Squad rotation for a pretty hot minute. I really like this Brayan Bello card. And at the number 1 spot on the list, was it going to be anybody else? Absolutely not. He's totally free. You get him out of the Season 3 XP reward path. Entirely free card. Ignore that 52,000 stubs. You grind out like 350,000 XP, and he's sitting right there for free. So what does John Donaldson have to offer you? Some of the best per 9s in the game. Some of the best pitching clutch in the game. He's got max control on his slider. He's got really good control on the rest of his pitches. Max break on the slider. 95 on the serve. 94 on the forkball. Great speed differentials. What else does he have? Outlier 1 and outlier 2. So yes, you heard that right. He has outlier on his fucking slider. It is ridiculous. I hate to cuss, but like, you have to when you're talking about this card. If you've ever gone up against John Donaldson in this game, it will literally make you want to wear your monitor as a bracelet because of how enraged you're going to be watching a slider come in at 98 miles an hour and then a forkball come in at 80. It is ridiculous how good he is in this game. All, you know, points aside about the bug where you can use him infinite stamina. First off, that's really annoying. SDS fixed that. You got it out of BR. I appreciate that. But let's do something about ranked seasons. This card's impossible to hit. I mean, he's possible to hit. I started to hit him in our last gameplay where we were going up against John Donaldson, but like he's virtually impossible to hit. With his speed differentials and his movement and his break and his control, like you could put it anywhere with him. I mean, he's just ridiculous. This is the best pitcher in the game. And on top of that, he's the best budget pitcher in the game. You cannot ask for better than that. Because you go over who would be the other best pitcher in the game, Randy Johnson. You had to grind your ass off for Randy Johnson. I took him second out of my collection reward pack. It took me like 25, 30 days of the set to even obtain Randy Johnson. This card, whoopsies, Martin Dihigo. This card, it took me 2 days of just grinding the game, working through my team affinity, getting my progress out of the way, and you can get them even faster if you're doing the road to the show method, which I'm sure someone has a video on that. If you got a day off work and you just want to get a bunch of XP, you can go check out one of those videos for how to grind XP the fastest. I'm not going to do one because I don't mess with that shit doing the road to the show. I like playing Diamond Dynasty and I like purposeful grinds and getting parallels while I'm doing my grinds. But no hate, no slander if you do the road to the show method. It's a great method to make XP in the game, and it could get you John Donaldson even faster. But John Donaldson, he's the best pitcher in the game. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he can hit too. I mean, if you want to use him as a DH, I almost thought he was on the durability team. I mean, he's got 93 speed. I mean, he's one of the best cards in the entire game. I really wouldn't use him as a hitter, but I mean, he can hit a little bit. Got pretty good swing too. John Donaldson, he's the best pitcher in the game, best budget pitcher in the game. I know I've ranted about this, but I just can't get over the fact that SDS really hasn't ever done this. To the point where, don't get me wrong, everything in this game is free, as I am a no money spent player. I have mostly every card I would want in the game outside of Ellie De La Cruz, who I am working on my stub count right now. We will have Ellie De La Cruz sometime next week. We're doing a big pack opening after we do the mini seasons tomorrow. Kind of spoiled Saturday's video, but oh well. But SDS really hasn't done this in the past. They've always had, last year live series collection was Randy Johnson. You got Justin Verlander, one of the dominant pitchers out of the BR program. Kershaw, you get him out of a pack that wasn't cheap. Nolan Ryan was a World Series rookie. Tom Seaver, I don't think he's in the dominant tier, but he was out of an expensive pack. Chris Sale, he was out of an expensive pack. SDS has really never been like, you know what? Let's pretend this is the greatest thing in the world, like John Donaldson is. They're not just like, here you go. This is the first time they've really done this. Don't get me wrong, like I was saying, you can obtain a lot free in this game, but it's rare that it's handed to you that easily. And I really appreciate that from SDS, because all of you guys who may not have the best teams in the game or anything like that, you get to experience what a truly masterful, dominant pitcher is in this game, which you may not have experienced before if you didn't grind out certain things, because it's so damn easy to obtain this card. And you're going to have a lot of success with him. I really can't speak highly enough on this John Donaldson. Also, I think all the storylines cards that they threw into the game, I think that was an awesome addition to the game this year. Super fun using Hank Thompson and Dihigo and Rube Foster and John Donaldson and Hilton Smith. Well, I did leave Hilton Smith off this list because I just don't think he's hard to hit. He does have great per nines and he does have good speed differentials, but Hilton Smith, when the glitch was going on where you could use these guys out of the bullpen, and they had infinite stamina was going on, I faced him 3 times in a BR run and I put up 15 runs a game against the card. So if I'm doing that with silver cards against a 99 overall pitcher, I don't really think he's that good. He's got good control, he's got pretty good break. I don't know if it was just those guys using him or what it was, but I just didn't really like what I saw from Hilton Smith. But he's free out of the collection. If you can use him and you can be successful with him, go for it. All right, and that's going to wrap up today's video. I know I just got a little long-winded, but I was just talking about my appreciation for what SDS has done for the no money spent and the budget grinders in this game. I really do appreciate them throwing us a bone with the John Donaldson card and some of these other guys like the Corbin Burns and the Kodai Sengas of the world. But like I said, that's going to wrap this one up. I appreciate you watching. Let me know where you think I got it right. Let me know where you think I got it wrong. Comment down below who some of your best budget pitchers in the bullpen and starting are. But that's going to do it for me. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'm out.